welcome to the extended cut of my Python coding video. This video has more detailed and less rushed descriptions of the different codes that I made, so if you think that I explain anything badly in the first video, feel free to skip to that part. Also, the audio in this one might be slightly worse. So the first step is to somehow get an object moving. And my plan is that I'm going to take this from the Kids Can Code video and try to modify it. So basically what I've done is I've copied this first part of this code and then I've put it into here, but I've changed the while true command to a for-i in range command. So basically what I've written here is that this should move the ball x speed and y speed instead of moving it until it hits a wall. Now let's see how the program looks. So yeah, as you saw there, the ball was moving. So if you remember from the video that I showed, there are spikes moving on the top and bottom, not circles. So now I would try to change this command to instead make a spike by using the polygon command, which we learned about with the Kids Can Code videos, and then I've put in 3 different sets of coordinates. So this one and this one. Oh wait, I need another one. Good thing I found that. Okay, this one and this one are the base, and then this one is like the point. So let's see how this looks. And then they're also moving backwards. Oh damn. Oh, comma. Okay, now let's see. Okay, at least we have the spike, but it does not seem to be moving. Ball. Oh, oops. Did I write ball? Oh. Okay, there. Now the spike should move. Yeah! Now what I'm going to try to do is make one big polygon which consists of spikes going across this whole thing, so that I do maybe these 3 points and then another point there and another point there and then continue like that. Because I think that's going to be easier than having a bunch of separate spikes. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. So I've now added 2 extra coordinates. So one will be at 200, 0, and one will be at 150, 100. And now we're going to see how this looks. Because hopefully it's 2 spikes that then move. Oh, damn, wait. Okay. So, it's not really 2 spikes. I wonder what... Okay, so 0, 0, and 100, 0. Then there's 0, 50. Wait. Yeah, 0. Wait, no, there's no, 50, 100. Okay, yeah, this should be 50, wait. This should be 50, 100. Because it's in the middle here. Then, 200, 0. That's probably this point. So it drew a polygon like that, and then up like this, and then for some reason... Oh wait, but it fills in the lines. Wait, so it drew it there, and then it went back. So that's the problem. I don't know, maybe... It probably won't work like this then. Maybe I'll have to find a way to make a bunch of different triangles here at the top. So now I've created 7 different spikes and I've moved them across the screen 100 pixels. So let's see how this looks. Okay, there you go. One thing I think I can do though is that I can change these fill equals green to just fill equals color, and then I can define color up here. Now I've added more descriptions to the different things that I've done, so like creating the canvas, creating the dart, moving the spikes and dart. Now I have changed this to be fill equals color for all of them, and I've changed the color to red, so hopefully now when I run this, all of them should be red. Yeah, there you go. So I was just starting to create my main complex figure when I was watching a video, and I noticed that you can actually set a background color for the canvas. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go BG equals, and then you can just put any color. So let's see if pink works, just to see if it works. And there you go. Now the background is pink. And as you see, I've also started designing my main complex figure here. But it is, I don't know, I'm going to add different shapes in it and stuff. We'll see how it looks. I have now worked a lot more on my dart, which is what I'm calling it. It's my main complex figure. So I've created a base and then a few different parts, which make it look, in my opinion, pretty good. I've also put them all into a group. You'll see why I did that later. But let's just run this so you get to see how the dart looks. And here it is. So it has 2 triangles and then a circle at the back that's layered below the triangles, a circle in the front, and then an arc here. The arc was pretty difficult to make. I've linked the thing that I used to learn how to do it. But basically, you put in the area that you want it to be made in, so like here to here, for example, and then you put the angle you want it to start at. So I did 225, and then you do how big you want it to be, and I did -90, which makes it go that way. I've also optimized the spike setup a bit more. So I made a spike group, kind of like with the darts up here. You'll see why I did that later. But then I've also done a more complex for iron range command. I'm just gonna uncomment region. Okay, so basically what this does is that it starts at -2. It starts with I at -2, and then it goes up to 15, and it goes with intervals of 1. And I used a website which I've linked to do this, and this print I is just to show that it's working, so that I see that like it does each one separately. And then this spikes.append, it's the same as over here. Balls.append, it basically means that you create a spike in the spikes group. Then, so in brackets here we have what kind of spike what I'm creating, which is a spike. But so you do canvas.create polygon, and then these are the coordinates. This took some time to get working, but basically I is the number, right? So for example, let's start with -2. So for the coordinates of the points, you do -2 times 100, and then you do 0. So okay, first -2 times 100, that's -200. So then the first the x-coordinate of the first point is -200, and the second one is 0. The y-coordinate is 0. And then for the second point, it's -2 times 100, which is -200 plus 130. And then the y-coordinate for the second point is 0 again. And then for the third point, it's -2 times 100, which is -200, plus 65. And 65 is the right in the middle between I times 100 and I times 100 plus 130, because it's 130 divided by 2. And then the y coordinate is 200. And then you fill equals color, and I've changed color to be up here. It's a random color. Or it's a random color, so I made a group here, and then I pick a color from this group. So let's just run that so you see how it looks. Okay, so we have these spikes up here, and as you see, I can pull it down here. So the eye, you don't really see the ones that they're over here, the ones that are -2 and -1. They're over, you can't see them because they're off the screen. Let's take I equals 0. That's this spike right here. First you have 0 times 100 x coordinate, and then 0 for the y coordinate, which is right there. Then you have 0 times 100 plus 130, which is about there, and then 0 y coordinate. And then this point is 0 times 100 plus 65, and then 200 y coordinate. And then you continue those over. And as you see here, it's also created all of the different numbers here. So that first it did -2, then -1, then 0, and then all the way up to 15, which is actually 14 because it starts counting at 0. Then if we run this again, they'll probably have a different color than blue because it's a random color. So let's see what color they have this time. Look, now they're purple. Now I get to the most complicated thing I added, which is this movement command. So first, let's uncomment the region there. And then let's go through everything. Let's not care about these first, but this thing for spike in spikes. So it's the same thing as over here for ball and balls. Basically, it means that in the spikes group, or spike is everything in the spikes group is a spike. So it pretty much means do this with everything in the spikes group. And then you move it x speed and y speed, which are defined up here. X speed is -2 and y speed is 0. And then you have for dart and darts. That's this group up here is the darts, all the parts of my dart. And then yeah, and then you move them 0x and 2y. Then you update, and then you wait a bit, and then you redo that 40 times. Then you move on to the next one, where you do the same thing, except you move the dart -2 instead of +2. So basically, this is so that it doesn't just go down, but it goes back and forth, just like in the video I showed at the beginning. So let's see how this looks. So my computer can't run this very quickly, but as you see, the spikes are moving backwards and the dart is moving up and down. Then this for I in range command just means that you repeat all of this twice. Now I found this video by a YouTuber called Atlas, which I'm going to link in my sources. And basically, it's about using colors in tkinter. And so basically, you can swap out the base colors. Like if you see, I have, for example, blue and green and black. And then you can swap them out for hexadecimal numbers. And yeah, you basically combine 3, which gives you color value, but he also talks about that most systems use 6 because it's more precise. And so I found a color picker on Google, and now I can choose a color. So for example, I wanted blue here. Well, then I can choose exactly what type of blue. Maybe I want a slightly darker blue, maybe like this kind of blue. Yeah, let's take this one. Then I take the hex and I copy it. And then I put it in. Instead of blue, let's just try this one. And then I run. and then these two might have to be capitalized because I think that's how it works. Oh damn. Maybe they have to get this one on the hashtag. But I don't know, maybe that. Okay, let's put the hashtag. There. And now you see that blue is a lot darker, just like the one that I chose. Now I'm going to go through and I'm probably going to do that for a lot of the different colors. So it's now been 2 more days and I've made a lot more progress. So the first thing, last time I was working on changing the colors. So here, for example, you see that the background is a shade of pink instead of just writing pink. I did that for most of the parts of the dart too, except for the black parts, because then I can just write black. Also, I added these 2 different color groups, which they both use hex instead of just normal colors. So the next thing I did is that I now have this x equals 25. And I should probably add a line explaining this. Creating variable for amount of spikes. Here, for I in range, this command I've changed the highest number goes up to x. So that way, I don't have to change every single number here if I want to change how many spikes there are. I have made a new background. So, it's not completely done, but I've used to the power of to make a kind of curve with the bg.append. So it's kind of a curved line. It looks kind of odd, but I don't know. I'll show you it later when I show the whole thing. But basically, here we have background is this group here, which I later use to move it. And then here I have -1 to 100. So I do append something, create something as a part of this group, and then I create an oval. So for the first x coordinate, we have I to the power of 2. So basically, these double stars means to the power of. Then we have I times 3. And then as the first y coordinate, and then the second x coordinate is I to the power of 2 minus 30, which means that it pretty much has an x size of 30. And then the second x coordinate is, the second y coordinate is I times 3 plus 30, which means that there's also a y size of 30. Then here we have fill equals random choice, and then it chooses from the colors group. So I have 2 groups. One of them has the American spelling of colors, and one of them has the British spelling. So this one is the British spelling, which means that it has these 3 colors, which are all shades of pink. Then if we scroll over a bit, we see that width equals 0. Basically, this means that the outline around the circle is invisible. Speaking of outlines, before I had parts of the dart 1, dart 2, and dart 4 were all made to create outlines for the green triangles. And that was basically because the polygon did not have an outline when I created it. It was just green with no black outline. But now I figured out that you can do outline equals black, which means that I no longer need these dart 4, dart 2, and dart 1. So I'm going to remove those later after I'm done with this recording. So yeah, this is going to be the new group of objects. Also, I added 2 new parts. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to morph the dart more into a spaceship. I also added this oval, which is at the front of the dart or spaceship. Then we have some new things here. So, first of all, I've commented out the print I because as you see here, there are just very many numbers that just get printed all the time, so I decided to remove it. I just have to remove it up here too. Then, last time I only had this, this spikes append. This was the one that was just the spikes on the top with a random color. But now I've added this, which is a rectangle inside of the spike, which is a dark red color. I used kind of the same system for the coordinates, but changed it slightly so that they would be a better shape. This third command creates a hexagon inside of the red diamond rectangle shape. And its color is a yellow type. These next three commands make the exact same thing, except it makes them on the bottom of the screen so that you have the spaceship, dart, whatever, completely encapsulated by spikes. Then, as you see here, describe gone sleep. So, I've removed the time.sleep, because if you remember, I said that the computer was too slow to run my project. But after Valentine recommended that I should remove the time.sleep to see if it runs faster, I thought it would just do everything straight away, but because the computer is too slow, it actually goes perfectly. And that's the most of it. I also added 2 more different movements so that it's a bit more varied. Basically, these are shorter movements, so it goes a short spike up and then a short spike down. A short spike down and then a short spike up. So, as you see, here's the red diamond shape with the yellow hexagon inside. And we also have the spikes on the bottom of the screen. Then on the dart, we have the little thruster at the back and the red dot at the front, which isn't super visible. Also, the dart is moving a bit more complex. So it stopped now, but it was also doing shorter movements. And then in the background, we have the exponential. I don't think it's called exponential, actually. I think it has to be to the power of I to be exponential. But we have the nonlinear command to make these circles. So they start going up a bit, and then because the x-coordinate is to the power of 2, it grows much faster and they start to flatten out. I'm probably going to try to remake the background a bit, but we'll see how that goes. I'm also probably going to try to make the main movement even more complex. Maybe by increasing the speed of which it goes down. So instead of going 2 pixels at a time, I could add a part where it goes maybe 5 pixels. So it's going like very quickly. Or, for example, if I do x speed divided by 2 for that one, and let's also do it for this one. Or maybe it'll look weird, but we'll see. It might make the thing look slower. Okay, now the computer's lagging a bit, but oh wait, maybe it's no, okay. Maybe if I multiply by 4. Hopefully the computer can handle it. Yeah, there you go. Maybe something like that. We'll see.